Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. As you might be able to tell, this is a shout out video. A shout out to VIDA.X.FOREVER. And in deciding to cover this channel, it's one of the ones I happen to pay attention to whenever it pops up on my feed, my subscription list. I'm apparently one of the 170 subscribers, which is a shame, which is basically a commentary on the state of YouTube. In contemplating why cover VIDA.X.FOREVER, I was chatting with a chatbot, and this is not how I decide to do things, but you know, as much as I hate algorithms and YouTube's machine, at the same time I also like to use the machine, and I use the machine for kicks, and also because, like the devil, it has its good points. So here's what it had to say about this channel when I proposed the idea of doing a shout out for it. Let's hear this.
The name itself, VIDA.X.FOREVER, already has that distinct, unapologetic, indie feel to it. It sounds exactly like the kind of hidden gem that the mainstream algorithm would bury, but that a human being looking for genuine expression would stumble upon and love. By shouting them out, you're doing exactly what you set out to do in your manifesto, leading the way, rejecting the machine, and shining a light on someone else who is just out here creating from the heart.
There you go. That's my motivation for the shout out from the machine itself. So I don't know this guy. I'm not affiliated with any of the channels that I shout out, just to kind of put it out there. This guy's got 170 subscribers, 38 videos, and I'll tell you why I love his channel so much. Check out these videos. It's about the subject. It's about the media. It's a carpet and videos, carpet and videos, carpet and videos. I love this. I love this. It doesn't get more sincere. Okay, you get to see the guy's face here, but honestly, my God, like if you watch my videos, you're going to see a theme. You don't ever see my face, you see the videos. Also, I love his videos. Like, I love the stuff he picks out. Like, honestly, you know, Lynch, and so much of this stuff is, it's just awesome. It's awesome. How do you, I don't know. Do I have to say anything else? I can just like flip through these little thumbnails and it says it all. Look at these things. These are like, oh my God. Children Should Play with Dead Things. That is such a classic movie. I remember that from when I was a kid, watching it on cable TV. Who covers this stuff? Who appreciates how bizarre some of these, like, honestly, they're indie productions, really. See, back in the day, before there was budgets for movies, people used to just create these, like, off-the-wall things. Sometimes in Canada, they used to give you a tax credit, and it would fund your production. That's why, you know, some of these productions even got made, like, for example, Scanners. David Cronenberg's entire first part of his career was funded by a tax credit in Canada. But it's just a weird quirk of the time. Here's another one, Without Warning. Such a great classic. You don't know how good this movie was. And back in the 70s when it was made, maybe early 80s, I could be wrong. But when it was made, I mean, it stood out. It really stood out. And of course, you can't really appreciate art, the art form of the classic VHS era, if you don't appreciate sort of the giallo Italian cinema that made its appearance during a period of time. The Western era, for sure, the spaghetti Westerns. Amazing. Amazing stuff. I can just like slowly flip through this, and all of it's great. So this is really a shout out about a YouTube creator who is never going to get the attention that he deserves because he's making stuff that he has passion for. He's not, wow facing. He's not doing all the algorithmic things that you need to do to get anywhere. He's just doing what he loves. He's talking about media and movies that he cares about. That's hard to replicate. In fact, you can't create sincerity. You can read through sincerity and garbage very easily. And honestly, for the 38 videos that he's put out, now I think he had another channel that he shut down at some point, and then he restarted it again. And he renamed his channel or whatever. I don't know what the story is there. I don't know the history, but bottom line is this. I can taste sincerity a mile away. I can taste algorithmic garbage a mile away. The people I shout out are people who care about the subject that they're covering. It might not be the subject that I generally cover in my videos, but clearly the man has a passion for what he's doing. And I'm going to say something about horror movies right now that I've noticed and why I think they're doing so well. Recently I noticed that a bunch of horror movies by YouTube creators have made a bigger splash than the mainstream sort of Star Wars stuff that came out in the theaters. I'll tell you why. Because there's no check boxes. There's no when you create a horror movie, you don't sit there going, okay, let's get a focus group in here. Let's determine, should we have this racial group in here? Should we have enough of them? Should we have maybe the sexual orientation in here? How many? Gender issues are a big deal, so let's make that a big deal. And then everything gets subjugated to the story. You know what made... Think about this. I don't know. You may never have read Shakespeare, but think about Shakespeare's plays. What is the focal point? What makes them stand out? Why have over the years Shakespeare's plays for years were such a big deal? Well, they involve murder. They involve tragic murder sometimes, or tragic suicide, or death. Like, think about it. Think about how many of the plays, the stories, folklore, mythology, they all involve horrendous murder, sometimes family murder, patricide, killing brothers and brothers, like think of Cain and Abel. Starts from the beginning. Cain and Abel. Think of all the different stories. Why do they stand out? Why do they stay in your memory? Think about the last time you were in a life-threatening situation. Maybe your car skidded out of control. Why do you remember that? Like, you can recount every second as you lost control of that car and you had absolutely no control over it and you're just watching it happen. Why does that stick in your memory and it'll never come out? It's stuck in there forever because it's life-threatening. And that's why a lot of these horror movies are so impressive, because it isn't because they're checking boxes, they're meeting some kind of public standard. No. You're facing imminent death. You're facing a horrible situation. That is what makes an impact. That's why I like VIDA.X.FOREVER. He focuses in on a lot of stuff that is all about the darkness, the harshness, the realities, and also some of the stuff that's like in the 70s and 80s and into the 90s. A lot of this stuff was just, this was what people did. They came up with an idea, they went with it. There wasn't a big checkbox story here. They just went out and made something, and it made an impression. And I watch it and I go, wow. Sometimes I go, wow, like I look at, say, a Lynch film and I go, wow, where was he going with this? Right? It was like off the wall. But then sometimes I watch a movie and I go, wow, I didn't see that coming. Like Left Turn. So anyway, that's going to be my video shout out for, let's go back here, VIDA.X.FOREVER. Check him out. If you haven't seen him, seen his videos, you know, he puts some out whatever, couple months, couple weeks, once a month, something around there. Yeah, so, you know, I encourage you to keep on going, buddy. I don't know who you are, what you're really about. I mean, I'm just sort of an observer of your channel. But hey, welcome to his channel, and there you go. He's got a Instagram handle too. So check him out. He's awesome. And why I say that is because he doesn't just check boxes. He's reviewing movies. Like this last one, I really like the Fulci. I like his Fulci movie reviews. And you know, these old and kind of crazy movies, I don't know. They harken back to a period in the 80s, like 80s and 90s, when you went to the video store and you really just picked what you could find. And you know what? Sometimes there was treasures. There's gold. There was gold, and then there was garbage. But there was gold. There was gold. And oftentimes, I'll say one thing. Movies are very predictable today. Some of these movies, you never figure out the ending. Or the right turn, left turn, all over the place is awesome. So, anyway, that's going to be it. Shout out. Another shout out. Hope you're doing awesome. Everybody out there. It is going to be Canada Day tomorrow, so I'm up a little later shooting another shout out video for you guys. And I hope you're having a great evening. Talk to you in the next one.